Hey friends, today we're making salmon with a lemon risotto. This sounds super fancy and I'm sure you paid at least $35 for it in a restaurant, and I'm going to show you how to make it at home, so stick with me. We're going to have a delicious dinner. Hey friends, if we haven't met in Victoria, we're gonna be making some delicious things. Let's get going on our dinner because it's 5 o'clock. So I just got these salmon fillets out of the freezer. I got 3 because my youngest does not care for salmon, but we're working on that slowly. So 3 fillets is all I have, and I have a bowl of cold water. You do not want a bowl of hot water, you want a bowl of cold water. And this is the fastest way to de-thaw anything. This salmon is still feels really firm, so I know it's still frozen inside, so we're just gonna continue to let it soak. Oh, one of the bottom pieces does feel like it's thawed out the entire way. So what are we gonna need for this recipe? We're gonna need a couple pieces of salmon, and here's the dealio about salmon. Now, my father is crazy about salmon, and he only chooses wild-caught salmon. And while, you know, being in a restaurant or something like that, and you're that person that's like, is the salmon wild-caught? Yes, that can be annoying. It's very important that you get wild salmon because farm-raised salmon is not good for you. Okay, just look this stuff up. Okay, so we want wild salmon. I myself chose, what do we order from? The Wild Alaska Company. And I found that their salmon was pretty good. I appreciated that you could order a box of whatever you like. So what else do we need for this dish? We need arborio rice. We are not going to stray from the arborio rice. And I'll put a link below for the brand I use. You can purchase on Amazon. I get organic arborio rice. And this is the rice that they use for the risotto. Let's get going with dinner because it's probably 5:30 now. And I have people who are gonna wanna eat. We're just gonna make a little bed for, this is my prepared cookie sheet for the salmon. So we're just gonna make a little bed with a couple pieces of lemon. If you are loving these recipes and also never want to have to wonder again, what is for dinner, I'm going to put the link below to my cooking club. Every month I share 4 recipes, plus we have a live cooking class over Zoom. You're going to love it. I'm adding some garlic and a little bit of paprika and a little bit of salt and pepper. You can use any seasoning mix you like, but I'm putting these in the oven today because I have a certain theory of cooking. If you have one thing that's high maintenance, that's your main thing. Everything else has to be low maintenance for the meal to be any sort of not a pain in the butt. I could do the fish on the skillet, but if I did the fish on the skillet, then that would be one more thing on a skillet for me to watch. So this is gonna go in the oven, and I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll show you in a second when it's done. And then I'm gonna get going on the risotto, but the risotto is gonna be our high maintenance item for today. So this is just gonna be baked in the oven. We have our oven preheating, so we're gonna get started on the risotto. Here is a pan I'm using. This is a made-in pan. I'm gonna put a link to this. See how this is thicker here? So this is, what's that, 3 inch, 2 inches? I don't know. And we're gonna use this kind of pan that goes up and down and has a thick lip. We are not going to use a skillet because it's not the appropriate pan for that. So here's arborio rice. I'm gonna put a link to this. You can use any kind. I always buy organic. You should be buying organic too. Get whatever is the highest quality that you can afford. Okay, I don't normally measure. Okay, so I don't normally measure. We're just gonna put, let's start with a cup and see how that looks. That's not gonna be enough. I'm gonna do a 1.5 cups. This is gonna be a lot. That's gonna be enough rice for my whole family. So we're gonna start out with a little bit of olive oil in the pan. I just get this guy at Costco. again, highest quality that you can afford. I have other olive oil that's a little bit higher quality. Make sure it's from a single source. Okay, so my pan is set to, it's on 4, so 3 or 4 right now. I'm gonna use this one today. You need this kind of edge to scrape on the bottom of the pan. So make sure it is not a spoon that looks like this. We are not making soup. We need something with the flat edge, okay? So I'm gonna put a link to my favorite set on Amazon. It's kind of wavy, kind of witchy. I kind of like it. But I'm gonna go ahead and start stirring the olive oil. Okay, so the rice is all coated, and I'm kind of one of those people that I don't really measure a whole lot. So I think this will be enough rice. Again, it's going to expand once we add our liquid. So I'm gonna grab some chicken broth and we'll be right back. Okay, here's my chicken broth. I can my own, but get any kind that's good quality at the store. Again, best you can afford. We're gonna be adding enough chicken broth in here. There we go. We want everything to coat, okay? So you see how the rice is submerged. This is probably too much chicken broth, and I'm sure there's some Italian chef somewhere who's like having a heart attack that I did it wrong. So this is how we're gonna start it. Our heat is at 4, and this is not a stirring time, okay? We stirred it, we're gonna let it rest. You can add a little bit of garlic powder if you like at this point in time. I think I have one more roasted garlic left over in my freezer, so I'm gonna grab that. But now we're gonna let this do its thing. All right, so we'll stir long enough. This is still not done. So we're gonna do the same. We're adding enough liquid to cover the rice. And that's it. Now we wait. Okay, this is what you want to see. The rice is absorbing the liquid nicely. We're gonna take any lemon that you have left over and we're gonna squeeze it in here. Okay, I'm just tasting a little bit of the risotto. It's not done. I think the lemony flavor is nice. Could use a little bit of salt. I don't want to salt it too much because we're adding Parmesan cheese. But this is where you leave it. I'm a habitual stirrer, so I have a hard time leaving things like that. I'm actually going to put the rest of this chicken broth in there. You can use vegetable stock, you can use water. Oh, and I did have white wine, so I'm going to put in a splash of that. But you need to taste it a couple times to see when the rice is hydrated, because looking at it right now, like there's a kind of intense white color in the middle of these grains of rice. When it looks more translucent, it will be done. Okay, I took the salmon out of the oven to check it. I'm pretty sure this one's already done. How you check it is this, and I just reach my little arm into the oven to do this. Or you can take it out. You're gonna push on the salmon, see how it flakes? It is done. One thing I will say is sometimes it flakes a little bit, but then inside it's still not 100% done. If you are a person where you need it 100% done, then you need to check in a couple different spaces. So this one's definitely done, and this one looks like it's done. This is not the time to stir. We're not gonna stir this because there are times to stir with risotto and times not to stir. The time to stir is just when you're putting the chicken broth in. Otherwise, you let it be. Okay, this is almost done. Look how this looks kind of creamy. It looks thicker. The rice looks thicker than it previously did. So I'm gonna try another little bit and see. Yeah, it's just about done. I'm gonna grab some Parmesan cheese and add that. But yeah, I'm gonna just let this do its thing for another minute. Okay, it's close to being done. So I'm gonna add some parm. And it's just gonna melt into the risotto. See how it just kind of melts in. I think this is pretty much done. I turned the heat down, I added a little bit more Parmesan. See, you don't want the stickiness on the bottom, so yeah, this is definitely done. The question is, you can turn your heat off on this. Do you want to add a little bit more cheese or salt or what? So we're just gonna keep taste testing, because I could add a little bit of salt and that would be fine. I could add more lemon. So that's the lemon risotto, you guys. How easy was that? I mean, really, it's not a hard dish. The risotto takes a minute. Like, it's not like Uncle Ben's. It's not like making wild rice. It takes a minute and there's a few steps, but it is delicious. Now, I also like it with some Parmesan cheese on top because I am who I am. And if you like it with Parmesan cheese on top, you put it on there. And if you have purchased Pecorino Romano, because we used that in another recipe a couple months ago, this is another good dish to put your Pecorino Romano on. So try it.